How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm feeling good. Life is good. It's good, man. I'm happy to be here. This is like the fourth year, fifth year we've done this. I mean, it's like riding a bike with you, Matt.
Yeah, I used to start like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And I know that's the whole. I'm not doing it. You know, what I mean, I was too excited. It's been 2 months. 2 months I've been off from doing this. Did a show with Jason in mid-December, maybe 6 weeks, doing some top 10 takeaways, some wake and takes here and there. But I've been away, and yesterday I got an email that was begging me to do another show. Where have you been? Right? What is the Mind of Mansion off the air? Is it canceled? Are you coming back? What's happening? And I was like, oh, interesting. Right about the day before the triumphant return with Ray Garvin, I'm starting to get the emails like, hello, anybody out there? And it's like, yeah, we had the Super Bowl, the Senior Bowl, and everyone was settled in now. And now it's really, we're getting into, rookie talk, right? And it's all rookie all the time, right? Do you think about any players other than rookies right now?
Oh, man, it's rookie season. You know what it is. It's all rookies all the time. We'll worry about the old guys later. There's too much ambiguity in this class. There's too much good shit in this class to be thinking about anything other than the 24 class.
Think this is a good class?
I do. I really do. I do think it's a good class, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. There are no quote unquote generational players, or at least running backs in this class, and I hope we will stop using that term from here on out moving forward. But it's a good class because the NFL is going to replenish a lot of positions that we need in fantasy, and they're going to do it for cheap. And I think the reason why people are so down on this class, Matt, is because there isn't a clear-cut running back, a clear-cut quarterback, and people really don't know what to do. We haven't been in this position in fantasy in a while. Think about the last couple of years. You knew who the top running back was, the receivers, Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson. We knew these things. This year, shit, man, it can go a lot of different directions, but I do think this class is good overall, and it's going to serve a purpose for fantasy football, and we'll talk about that. I've got some theory and some thought around that.
Right. It's a good wide receiver class.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I checked, that's what the Dynasty gamers are all about now. We're post running back. I thought we were post running back. The fact that there's not a Bijan Robinson in this class, why is that a big deal? I thought, who cares about running backs? What happened? You could go trade for Saquon Barkley right now. Go. And he's about to land on a new team, which you kind of like, a whole rebirth. Why don't you go do that? If you really want a stud running back, I can give you 100th percentile athleticism across the board, the best college running back of all time, just in terms of the advanced metrics, the tackle breaking, the elusiveness, the breakaway runs. That was Saquon Barkley at Penn State. He's still operating at full capacity in the NFL. He's not that used up, right? He's still a fairly lightly used race car at this point. He's missed enough games, and he's young enough. So why do you need the 5 or 6 stud running backs in a class to call it a good class? This is a great class. I like this class. I don't know why people are so down on it. When you say you're so down on it, it makes no sense to me. I'm not on Twitter enough anymore to even process that remark.
It's lazy. I think it's flat out lazy because there is no. And I think it's this, Matt. We're talking about the wide receiver resurgence and the death of the running back, but I do believe that at the core of a lot of people, and they may never admit it, everybody wants a running back. You feel a little queasy. I don't care how dead the position is. You feel a little queasy if it's Devin Singletary and James Conner in your backfield. You don't feel great about looking at that. And I think most people,
Devin Singletary,
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, right?
James Conner,
most people, they want Breece Hall. They want a Bijan Robinson. They want Kenneth Walker to be a thing. I think most people at the core still are searching for the next big thing at the running back position, even though we know the position has been devalued. The NFL has told us this. The NFL continues to tell us this every single year. I don't want Devin Singletary. They don't give a shit. I'm just telling y'all right now. They don't care. They are a dime a dozen. A dime a dozen. So outside of the value that they provide your roster, be careful. And I warned people of this last year, Matt, with Bijan Robinson. I warned folks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that 2023 broke the spirit of people in fantasy. I think it broke people. I think the fact that these running backs weren't there at the end of the season, Derrick Henry was supposed to smash in week 17. Bijan was going to put up LaDainian Tomlinson numbers in year 1. I think it broke the spirit of fantasy gamers. It broke folks this past season. The running back position broke people's spirits in 23.
Unless they loaded up on Gibbs. If they were big Gibbs stands, then they were happy. Otherwise, no. You're right. You're right. You're like me. The Roschon Johnson not seizing that job and running with it at some point, that broke me. But that did. Because I have a book, right? The Dynasty Dominator book, right? And it talks about why you're actually better off drafting a running back early in Dynasty, a young stud running back early in Dynasty, than you are in seasonal leagues. And I still stand by that. It's still true. I'm more likely to draft a Bijan Robinson in a Dynasty league than I am in a seasonal league. Like last year, when you saw Bijan Robinson going at the 105, 106 in seasonal leagues, redraft, I was like, what? This is crazy. But like taking Bijan 101, I'm like, yeah, man. Or taking him in the first round of a startup, hell yeah. I'm all about that. So looking at these rookies, we are going to talk a lot of rookie today, but a little bit later in the show, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with a rookie question or rookie questions, few. And then we have a few veteran questions because there are actual super productive players. Most of the fantasy points that are scored in 2024 are going to be by non-rookies. I know it's crazy. I know it's nuts. It's wild. But it's true. It's true. So we got to talk about some of those players, and we will, right? But we have to start the show to hook the people, right? We have to hook the people with some actual rookie questions. I have one particular rookie question, but we have to. I want to start the show in a sort of a formal way. So we do have a formal. I'm trying to remember how the hell to do the show. I'm trying to remember how does it work again? What do we do? What happens when the guest comes on? Is there a sound that is there music that plays? And how do we introduce them? Yes, it's all coming back to me. And I think if you listen closely, you can hear what's happening. Right? The man. Ray Garvin coming on the show. We get a proper introduction. Right? I mean, this guy, we go way back. It's Ray Garvin.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Mind of Mansion program. The founder and CEO of Destination Devy, one of the best Dynasty minds on the planet. One of my good friends in this industry. Just a great guy. Just the greatest. Here with me today, Ray Garvin.
Woo!
Talk to me.
Let's go. People don't know what happens behind the scenes, but we're talking business stuff and it's kind of boring, but we know we got to do it. And then you get in the rhythm, baby, and you get me. I'm ready. Like now I'm ready. You feel it, Matt?
I feel it. It's needed. I was just going to go into some more questions and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. We haven't done the real introduction yet. We need to talk about Ray Garvin and I need to get in this voice. I need to do this this big voice.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
It's fun, man. Yeah, this is why we do this. This is how I got started. Close to 10 years ago. Our anniversary is coming up. I forgot. And Theo at one point asked me, when we started the company or whatever, and I said, okay. And then he reminded me, he's in a couple months, we have the anniversary. And I was like, the what anniversary? He's like the 10-year anniversary. The 10-year anniversary. And Player Profiler, everything started with the podcast. Everything started with just turning a microphone on. It used to be that I used to call a landline. That's how I used to record with Blog Talk Radio. You would call a landline and basically talk with no one on the other end. It's just a recording, like talking into an answering machine. And then that would get published as a podcast. That's how it used to work. So that's what I started doing, and then built Player Profiler to help me podcast. And now we're here.
I was retweeting. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was retweeting your tweet to tell people to come join. So I did not really hear much of anything that you said, but I'm happy to be here, Matt. I'm happy to freaking be here.
It was a basic history lesson on the founding of Player Profiler and this podcast, and the larger point is this is what I do. This is what I'm born for. This is what you're built for. What I'm built for.
Yes, sir.
And to go take it a step further, it's to get on these mics and talk rookies. That's where it's the most fun. And so just tell us right away, hook us in. What rookie has you the most excited?
Oh, let's get it, baby. We spent 5 minutes talking about how terrible the running backs are and nobody wants them anymore and yada, yada, yada. But I do think there is one. And I'm a sucker for SEC running backs. If you produced in the SEC, I like you. And if you're 5'11", 210 plus pounds, I like you a little bit more. If you're good between the tackles and can be deployed as a pass catching weapon with elite speed, I like you even more. He's been getting some buzz, but Jaylen Wright out of Tennessee is my dude. Like, I am a big fan of Jaylen Wright, and nobody really knows who he is right now. But I promise you, after the combine, when he tests and he measures and he runs, that Tennessee running back just rushed for 1,000 yards, 20 receptions this year, playing with Joe Milton, who is not good. I will just say that, not good. This young man has a chance, I think, to move his way up. And I think Dynasty gamers are thirsting for a running back, a true one that can come in and play. They may not be Bijan or Gibbs, but you can see a role in which they get some opportunity right away, a la David Montgomery when he was in Chicago. Jaylen Wright out of Tennessee is a dude that I'm very, very excited about, Matt.
The running back I'm most excited about is going to be discussed later in the show. And you hit on something I think it was a very clever attribute, which is ready to play right away. So the hint that I'll give, right, is that the guy I love, that where I'm at that level, is not going to be ready to play right away. We'll talk about him a little bit later. Just, did you have any thoughts on the Super Bowl before we get into particular players on particular teams?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine.
Fine.
I thought it was fine.
Fine.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine.
Fine.
I thought it was fine. It's not.
Fine.
What I was more interested in, I wanted to see like the double overtime because we've never gotten that. I wanted to see it go like just play another quarter of football.
That'd have been cool.
It was fine. I thought it was pretty poor at the start, and it was fine. It was fine, Matt.
It was bad football, good defense, I guess, for the first half. Right? They finally worked their way into it. I was happy that other people enjoyed it. Okay. I was happy my daughter enjoyed it. It was for a very broad audience. It was the second most watched broadcast in the history of television.
I did not know that.
You know the first?
I do not.
The moon landing.
It was second to the damn moon landing?
That's right. It's these are facts. I'm not making this up. In the chat, let us know. I mean, am I wrong? I read this. Was it fake news? I think that it was the second most watched broadcast since the moon landing. Yeah, so pretty cool.
Wow.
And no matter what, no matter how many people are watching, it seems that a particular wide receiver does not get enough credit, and that is Rashee Rice. Why? He should be so hyped right now.
I'm hyping him to high heavens. I honestly think it's a simple answer, Matt. it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Sky Moore's fault. I think it's those two players' faults. Fantasy gamers were burned so bad by Clyde in 2020, and then we got so excited by the advanced metrics of Sky Moore a couple of years ago and thought he could be a thing. And when those guys failed and Kansas City took the wide receiver that people didn't know a lot about, just another SMU guy in the second, they don't need him. I don't think fantasy gamers truly came around to how good Rashee Rice was for the Kansas City Chiefs and amongst his peers in the 2023 rookie class. And it never caught up. Like his true value and worth never caught up to what he was giving you.
That's what that has to be it. If he were a first round pick, if he had any like major traction heading into the season, it would have been a totally different story, right? But for some reason, no one was excited. No one was pushing him up boards. Even Sky Moore, right? The year before was getting vaulted,
yes.
Right? And it's just, you're right. I think it was Sky Moore PTSD is what happened. And yet, to a lesser extent, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But that's okay. We're done. He was awesome. He's going to be the number one option. Travis Kelce is fading. He's rising. It's Patrick Mahomes. There's really nothing else to say. It's that easy. That's like the young wide receiver I would overpay for is Rashee Rice. Now, looking at the teams around the league, and maybe what do you think's going to focus on offense in the draft, and is that team potentially going to be the next Houston Texans? Like I'm looking for that next sort of rookie stack. Stroud Dell was such an incredible rookie stack. Who could be that team this year that everyone is projecting to win 3 games that wins 9 games, 10 games?
Oh, when I saw this on the show sheet, I thought this was such a difficult question to answer because there wasn't a soul, Matt, who thought Houston would be any good, including the Arizona Cardinals, who traded for their pick that's like 23rd now in the draft. Nobody knew that. Nobody projected that. So I'm trying to think of a team, not one that's kind of good, but one that was dog shit last year.
Yes.
That can truly turn that thing around. And you've got rookie quarterback to rookie wide receiver combination. And this is a very difficult thing for people to understand because, Matt, we ain't seen it in like 23 years, man. It's been status quo for over 2 decades. But the New England Patriots, I think the New England Patriots are the team that if they take the right quarterback at 3, they will 100% go with a wide receiver in round 2. It's going to happen. They have no talent.
Yeah.
You got to take a receiver. But that team, the roster isn't terrible, but people view them very, very bad. Quarterback upgrade, you've got to find somebody on the outside. You've got a competent running back that can take some pressure off of your young quarterback. But that's a team that nobody is thinking anything of this season. They play in a tough division. But I think the New England Patriots are the one that can pair up rookie quarterback with rookie wide receiver, and there be some sort of success for us now and in the future.
That's an incredible answer. I didn't have an idea in my head. I mean, I'm asking these are just honest, straightforward, open-ended questions. Please let me know what you're thinking. That was not on my radar. That's so yes, they're gonna go quarterback and wide receiver. They have their wide receiver room is completely depleted. They're definitely gonna draft a quarterback, but they have these other pieces on defense where they could be competent. They could also have a good draft overall, right? And they could add some defensive pieces, offensive line pieces in the draft and in free agency. And this is a team that has clearly, with the how old the I mean, Houston ownership is old as well, right? That makes sense, right? The McNair family. I mean, they're not spring chickens. Oh my God, did I really say that?
Who's Houston's head coach? DeMeco Ryans, right? Defensive guy. Who's the new New England Patriots head coach? Gerard Mayo, former defensive guy. You got to make sure you get the offensive pieces in place. They got Van Pelt, I believe, calling the off. I'm just saying that's a spot.
Yeah, Kraft is not here to rebuild.
No.
That is, oh my God. Yes, Ray. Yes. Oh my God. Okay. So, given that, who do you think the Texans' primary back is going to be?
Probably not on the roster.
Right.
Good chance they're not. Good chance he's not on the roster. If Devin Singletary will take a team-friendly deal, then it'll be him. It'll be him. If not, I'm not going to say it's Dameon Pierce. I think that ship has sailed. And what does Devin Singletary want right now? Does he want to go bag chase for whatever that may mean for a running back, or does he just stay in a good spot? He's in a good spot, and I don't believe I'm trusting what the team is telling me. I think they're in a position to just bring him back on a team-friendly deal, and if they do that, he will be the lead back for Houston in 24.
If Devin Singletary's agent lets him leave, that's gross negligence, incompetence, fireable offense. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, yes. Where do you want Derrick Henry to land?
Do we have enough time in the show so I can name like 30 teams? I think the number one spot for me would be Baltimore. I think him in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson makes a lot of football sense, and I think it would be good for us for fantasy purposes. I also think that the Dallas Cowboys could use a running back upgrade. What True. That looks like, I'm not as bullish. This ain't the same Dallas offensive line that Zeke Elliott was running behind in 2016 and 2017, so I'm not as bullish on that landing spot. But I'm going to throw you one more out there that is probably the longest of long shots to happen. But
Please.
Given the fact that they've got an undersized running back who has sustained 3 injuries last year en route to a historically efficient season, the Los Angeles Rams, I want to watch what they do. I want to watch what the Rams do, because that would be a spot to where I don't think McVay cares, man. Like, bring Derrick Henry in and just let him have at it with Stafford and again, they don't want to rebuild either. That team ain't in rebuild mode. So I think the Rams are another wild card team that I wouldn't mind seeing Derrick Henry play for.
We did not script this.
No.
Right? Because I've said that Kyren Williams is my one do not draft player. That at no ADP am I drafting him. I'm crossing him off the board. I don't want any Kyren Williams. He is one of the most terrifying fantasy assets at ADP in my history in this business. Not just because he's small and slow and he's more similar to Devin Singletary than he is Derrick Henry, but also because he was one of the worst pass blockers in the NFL last year. Thank you to Andrew Cooper, DM me this. He said, by the way, make sure you mention this about Kyren Williams. They have one of the most fragile quarterbacks who has multiple broken shoulders, broken necks. It's true.
Yeah.
This is not up for dispute. They have a Fabergé egg back there at quarterback, and they're going to put the worst pass protection running back full time for the full season back there. I don't see it. I don't see it. So there's a lot that can happen. Les Snead does not value. I can promise everybody around the world. Les Snead does not value Kyren Williams as high as Dynasty Leaguers do right now.
I agree with you.
I can and there's a lot of great talent available in free agency. So be very careful. If it's not, we don't have to wait for the NFL draft. If Kyren Williams gets eviscerated, to totally vaporized just in free agency by a Saquon Barkley or a Derrick Henry, I would be Josh Jacobs. There's so many options. There's so many ways. Like there are so many red balls that they could pull out of the bag here. Oh boy.
Yes.
I would be just, because it wouldn't necessarily hurt him at all. Like, it's not like I'm rooting for an injury. Nothing bad happened to him necessarily, except professionally he's going to lose opportunities. I am fine victory lapping the hell out of that situation, because this was my fear. The underpinnings of the fear are The coaches that have access to the film and the front office do not value this player at the level of his fantasy production from 2023. That was my thesis, and if it all blows up in the next 30 days, I will be ecstatic. What about Tyjae Spears? Because Tyjae Spears, okay, Derrick Henry goes to Los Angeles. That's what's going to happen. Tyjae Spears is left in Tennessee. He's great. If it were me, given the devaluation of the position, I would just roll Tyjae Spears as my primary back and get 2 more Tyjae Spears-like players behind him. And if he gets hurt, go to the next guy. If that guy gets hurt, go to the next guy. But again, a lot of NFL teams are still looking for a little more size, a little more stability from their running back, which is part of the thesis for why Kyren Williams is in a fragile position. So do you believe that Tyjae Spears can be a primary back in the league for an extended period of time?
I think he could. But I don't believe they're going to ask him to do that. I don't believe they're going to ask him to do that. You look at this class, and there are a lot of big bodies that can absorb carries, from Braylon Allen to Audric Estime to Jalen Wright. You go down the board, and they're going to be very cheap, Matt. I don't believe that they're going to sign a free agent running back. That's not a landing spot that I believe Josh Jacobs is going to, or Saquon Barkley. But I 100% anticipate them drafting somebody or two, whether that be in round 7 and it's Isaiah. They're going to bring in somebody else to help Tyjae Spears shoulder the workload. Because despite what we may think, their objective is not to load up one guy with 300-plus opportunities. It's trying to win a damn football game. And the best way to do that is keep your most explosive player healthy and on the field. They're bringing somebody else in. Could he do it? Maybe for a season. But I don't think they're going to ask him to do that.
Do not doubt a general manager's ability to think simple. Okay? We just lost a stud running back. Therefore, we need to backfill him with a running back that's drafted in the top 100 players. That's just how they think, right? Like, yes. Hey, we need depth. Like that's what happened in Seattle last year. We need running back depth. We have no one behind Kenneth Walker. We're just going to go get an all-purpose back. And okay, it's a second-round pick, big deal. We need this player. This is a position of need for us. Beyond Kenneth Walker, we got nobody. We got to use this pick on him. And everyone's like, "What are you doing? How are you using such a valuable pick on a running back? You don't need it." And they're like, "Wait, what do you mean we don't need it? Of course we need it. Look, we got nobody behind Kenneth Walker." So it's just two completely different perspectives, and the general manager perspective is the one that always wins on NFL teams, not the fantasy gamers. They don't have a vote when the draft picks are decided. Which a better sleeper for you, Zamir White or Spears?
Oh, my goodness.
I love them both at ADP.
I love them both at ADP. If I had to call, I don't feel like Spears is this. I think people are expecting and assuming Spears to assume the primary running back role, whatever that may mean. I think most people are assuming that is going to be the case. I think there's a lot less confidence in Zamir White, his situation, what the Raiders could do. That for him would make me the better value, because I do think he walks into the season. He's a little different than Spears. I think you can just turn around, just give him. He just is a body that they could turn around and hand the ball to. Just hand him the ball. So I think this may sound crazy. It feels like his role, or what he could be in Las Vegas, is a little more certain. I don't think they're deploying him as no damn pass cat. They're not lining up in the slot and telling him to run routes. Turn around, give ball to Zamir White. You run ball, you'll get goal line touches. I think he's at cost, probably Zamir, but I like both of the players.
And yet Brian Robinson goes many rounds earlier than Zamir White.
Yes.
Right? So what do you think of Brian Robinson?
He's exactly what we thought he would be. He's Brian Robinson.
He's Brian Robinson.
There's no comp. He's B-Rob.
He's B-Rob.
He's going to give you some weeks where he spikes, and you're like, that Robinson got me 2 touchdowns. He caught 5 passes. And then he's going to go 16 for 42. Like he's a plotter plus. is what Brian Robinson is. He's a plotter plus.
Ooh, I like
that's
it.
going to see some opportunity. And what does that mean for him? He's Brian Robinson. Like, he's fine. He's just B-Rob. You know, what do you want me to say about Brian Robinson? That he's great? Because I don't think he's great. I don't believe that he's a great running back. I think he's 6'2", 227 pounds, and they can turn around and give him the damn ball, and he's healthy. Got shot in the ass 2-3 times and came back in 4 weeks and played football. Probably a pretty tough player, but that's about it.
Okay. This is Brian Robinson. Ready? This is who Brian Robinson is. Okay. So Brian Robinson did have 35 catches in a college season. He did. That's a thing that happened at Alabama. It's in that role, dump offs, 7.5% target share, good, not great. But the 35 catches, in 14 games, that was noteworthy. Before that, in 4 years, he had 17 catches total. Okay? So, wow, 35 catches. Whoa, right? Inconsistent year to year. Why? Because he was the primary back for 1 year, right? But before that, there was at no point was anyone at Alabama going, we got to get this guy out there on the field and deploy him in passing situations. No one was thinking that for 4 years. Okay? Not even mixing him in, right? In that situation. He goes to the combine, 15th percentile burst, 8th percentile agility score, and average speed. A little bit above average for his size, right? Went to the Senior Bowl. No one was impressed with Brian Robinson. He was functional at the Senior Bowl. And then a funny thing happened last year. He led the NFL in yards per reception among running backs. 10.2 yards per reception, which then fueled all of his efficiency metrics, right? Advanced, fantasy points per touch, per opportunity, all these stats. He was great. And it's like, oh, wow. So apparently we've been wrong about Brian Robinson. He's actually really efficient. Or he just happened to catch passes in a particular situation on particular days against particular teams where the sea parted and he ran for 40 yards after the catch. That is in my life, I've seen unsustainable stats when you zoom out and you look at the full picture. This is up there. This is top 5 in my life of a particular season stat for a full season, right? Where the guy's playing all the games, right? 10.2 yards per reception for Brian Robinson is as unsustainable as it gets. So you'll never get him. I'll never get him. Anyone that knows what Brian Robinson is never going to get him in a fantasy draft because his ADP is going to be driven by his incredible receiving efficiency, and there's going to be at least one person in every draft room that doesn't realize how fake that is.
Mic drop. There's people pumping up Brian Robinson, man. There are people pumping him up, saying that he's the next big thing in Washington.
Yeah. You know what? That I pay attention to what people are saying. And then what I do, see, Ray, what I do is then I put questions on my show sheet that troll those people, that address those people vis-a-vis our conversation. That's what we do. And I love running backs named Robinson, first initial B. I really do. I love running backs named B. Robinson, but I prefer Bijan. I'll tell you that. So tell me, what are you expecting from Bijan this year?
I expect him to be very good. I expect him to be 100% better than what he was this past season. The situation was awful, and Matt, I completely agree with you. And we didn't talk about it when you asked the second question on the show sheet. I agree with you. I think there's way too much coach worship and praise that the coaches are making the players. That's bullshit. That's not true. I'm just telling you, that is 100% not true. There are good coaches that put their players in good situations, but the players got to make the play. The coach ain't doing nothing, right? And when I'm looking at Bijan Robinson's situation, the Arthur Smith often, it was a mess. It's egregious that the way he was being used. And I'm not Tyler Algier should have gotten some playing time because you got to spell Bijan Robinson, but there's no reason he should have led the league in routes as the running back position and be as poor as they were. Like, running the ball, hand him the freaking ball. Give him the ball. Let him punch it in at the goal line. And I think Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson coming in are going to say, get him the ball. Get Seven the ball. So I think Bijan Robinson is going to make amends for I'm going to just call it a disappointing rookie season. It was a disappointing rookie season for the expectations that we had, but I believe in year 2, he will make amends and he will turn the corner.
This is the year. This is the year to draft Bijan Robinson.
Correct.
This is the year. Best ball, Dynasty, early. I want him. Last year, I couldn't get behind any running backs early. I just couldn't. I was like, you know what? Can't do it. Okay. Christian McCaffrey falls to the 103. Okay, you're doing that. Other than that, I wasn't. You could look back and say, yeah, you took Justin Jefferson over Christian McCaffrey. That was a mistake. Okay, I'm not saying I was right about every pick. I'm just saying this, generally speaking, the structure of 0 RB worked very well last year. It was incredible. And some people picked up Kyron Williams that did 0 RB, and then they won their championship. So congratulations to those people, and you're welcome. This year, Hero RB is going to be back, and that hero is Bijan Robinson. What about Drake London? What about him? When is he going to be unlocked?
I'm praying it happens this year. I'm praying it happens this year, and they too are due a quarterback upgrade. Who that quarterback is going to be, anybody's guess. I have no idea. But with the QB upgrade, and I want to give a massive shout out to Player Profiler right now. This is not scripted. I'm giving a major shout out because of this website and the data that's housed on the website on the player pages. I was able to look at some things over a year ago, and I've created my own wide receiver metric score. It all came from Player Profiler, just literally looking at different things that's on your website and saying, I'm seeing a pattern here between the elite receivers and the have-nots. And it was because of your site. But that score, which I coined Trinity, Drake London is very high. I mean, he's doing enough wide receiver stuff to be an elite wide receiver, but he's below the regression line because the quarterback play is terrible. He had no quarterback. He's doing enough stuff. The yard per route run data, targets per route run, his efficiency, it's all there for London. But the one equalizer in sport, man, you got to have somebody that can get you the damn football. Like, you have to have that. So I'm hoping, and hope is the killer of all dynasty teams. Hope is the number one killer of all dynasty rosters. But I'm hoping they get the quarterback upgrade, because if they do, I believe Drake London takes off here in 24.
Well, guess who helped win a bunch of championships for fantasy gamers last year? DJ Moore. And DJ Moore was the Hope King for many years. And it finally happened. There's asymmetrical upside here with Drake London. If and when they upgrade their quarterback, boom, he's going to pop, right? The ADP, and again, best ball and dynasty, it's going to jump rounds. That's the thing. There's very few other wide receivers you can say that about. Like, okay, one transaction happens in the NFL, and player X jumps multiple rounds. Even from not just late round, but like from middle round, early round. It's a very rare case that could happen. Drake London is the case. Drake London, everyone knows it's going to happen. When it happens, it's got so everyone's waiting for it to happen, and they're almost preemptively getting, preparing their body to draft him, rounds earlier. Just you should just, in a startup, just do it. Just get out in front of it. And our producer Tyler Knable, he's very happy right now. I didn't script this with you or him. We didn't talk about this, okay? But now is the time, right? I feel like Braveheart, like hold. Last year, people said you got to get Drake London. Look at all the incredible Trinity metrics that you're talking about that he put up as a rookie. I said hold. It's still Ritter ball. Hold. Now is the time. It's now, year 3. You're gonna see an increase in fantasy production, assuming health. I guarantee it. If he's healthy, I guarantee it. It can't get worse. The coaching was stone worst. The quarterback play was the stone worst. And both players can thrive. Both Bijan and Drake London can thrive because it's a consolidated target distribution. They've already invested so much in skill position players. It's one of the last teams that's going to go out and spend up early on a wide receiver. They're going to go get another Mac Hollins type and call it a day. So enjoy it. Enjoy the production from Bijan and Drake London this year. This is the year, not last. This is everyone. That was the team to fade last year with the Falcons, given that it didn't make any sense. When you added up the ADP of Bijan plus Pitts plus London, what you knew the pace of play was going to be and what you knew the quarterback play was going to be, the ADPs were nonsensical. They were nonsensical. But now you push the button. So tell me why I should not overpay for Breece Hall. Because again, I'm willing to overpay for Bijan. I'm willing to overpay for Drake London. I'm willing to overpay for Zamir White. Breece Hall. I'm into him. Like, again, last year, no running backs because Breece Hall was coming off a torn ACL.
Yeah,
all the cases for all the running backs fell apart, right? This year, the bull case for Bijan and the bull case for Breece Hall are strong. Unless you disagree.
Matt, I'm telling you right now. I'm saying it right now. I stand by it. Breece Hall is going to lead the NFL in rushing next year. Breece Hall is going to lead the league in rushing. I as soon as those props come out, I am loading up units on it. I believe he's going to lead the league in rushing while putting up a very, very quality season out of the backfield in the receiving game.
Oh, God.
I'm thinking he's going to give us, 2015, 2016 David Johnson type season. Breece Hall is absolutely good. This is the year.
This is the year.
If I had to project Breece's career, and shout out to Miss McDaniel, LaRonda McDaniel. That's Breece Hall's mom. She is a frequent viewer of the Wake Up Show. So I've got an affinity towards the Hall family. I'm telling you right now, Matt, this might be like his greatest season. 1 year removed off the ACL. He's got his damn quarterback back. They're going to do things to help improve the offense line, other pass catchers. But this, Breece Hall is going to smash in 24. Barring health, this might be like all Breece Hall's best fantasy season that you're ever going to get. So I'm not even going to call it overpay, Matt. Go get Breece Hall. Just get him by any means necessary.
By any means necessary. What do you think's going to happen? Do you think he's going to be bad again this year? Then he's a bust. This is year 3. If he's bad this year, he's a bust. And if you zoom out and look at the career arc, the total package that is Breece Hall, speed, size, college production and efficiency, incredible, sort of downfield route running and efficiency in the passing game, things that are very rare in the NFL among running backs, where there's like a handful of guys in the league at any given time that can operate at that level of receiving efficiency with size, with the ability to run 80 yards up the middle. I mean, this is incredible. Yes. So last year was 0 RB season. This year is hero RB season, and it's one of these two guys. And they're very similar teams, right? Consolidated target distribution. Your stud receiver and your stud running back. So I am in on the Jets and I'm in on the Falcons. So you agree, Garrett Wilson, keep pushing the button, ignore the inefficiency from last year?
The player I'm least concerned about heading into this coming season is Garrett Wilson. I have zero fear, zero concern, zero. Good. Now, Jaylen Waddle is interesting because last time I checked, fast receivers like Tyreek Hill
always experience an early cliff year, right? Whether it's age 31, age 32, from Deshaun Jackson all the way down. I know that he's a unicorn. He was a unicorn coming out. He's always been a unicorn. I get it. But at some point, it's going to have to become the Jaylen Waddle show. And I like him because 1 year he does it with Yak. The next year he does it with air yards. So he's incredibly versatile. And the production has been suppressed by injuries. He's been banged up, especially last year. And then Tyreek Hill being that sort of having that gravitational pull. So there's another guy. I mean, of course, I can't do a startup and get Bijan, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and Jaylen Waddle. I can't. But I mean, these are the guys I'm circling.
Love them, and I think people. It's tough to shine when you're playing next to Tyreek Hill. It really is hard to. It's hard to sit back and look at it because you think Miami Dolphins, it's Tyreek Hill, it's Devon Achane, it's Waddle is kind of an ancillary target. But man, I'm just looking at what he did this year, the wide receiver stuff, his Trinity score being over Chris Olave, Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins. Like, he's good. He just
can't believe you listed Nico Collins with those guys.
Well, just giving Nico his credit for last season. I'm giving Nico his props for what he did last year.
The Brian Robinson of wide receivers.
That's actually shit. Oh, why did you put that in my head? He might be the B-Rob of receivers, and I'm not. That may be your best comp of all time.
I don't know.
Wow. I like Jaylen Waddle. I like Jaylen Waddle. That is, you are a dirty, dirty dog. I'm going to just say that. That's mean.
I mean, the talent disparity between a Jaylen Waddle and a Nico Collins is hard to even get your head around. It's not even a thing. All right, so now we have the special segment that we do, 10 burning questions. 10 burning questions with Ray Garvin coming up after this. Now, I know many of you are looking for a secret weapon for your Dynasty League, and I have it. It's called the Dynasty Dominator app. You go to the App Store, go to Google Play. It's right there. It's $5 to download, and then every year it's $5 to load the next incoming class of rookies. You can add Superflex, add tight end premium. It's incredible because it allows you to look up players. It allows you to vote on whether a player is a buy, hold, or sell, and then see the market sentiment on that player. And you can compare their lifetime value rating from PlayerProfiler to their Dynasty ADP at the FFPC, all in the price lookup tool. And beyond that, we have a trade analyzer, so you'll never lose another Dynasty trade again. And in our settings, you can set this is a win now team, this is a rebuilding team, and then we let you compare players. Look at their metrics side by side, prospect metrics, NFL metrics. It's all there. It's $5 in the App Store. There's some add-ons for Superflex and to buy the upcoming rookie class. Every year, you're going to spend $5 on this thing, and it's going to be well worth it. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Garrett Wilson making another appearance. 10 burning questions. And yes, we teased it earlier. Rookie talk. Yes, rookie fever. We're circling back to rookies. Malik Nabers. When does he jump the shark?
I was curious as to why you put this in the show sheet.
Because I saw him comp to Justin Jefferson.
Okay, well that's
a better Justin Jefferson.
No,
people on TikTok are saying he's better than Justin Jefferson. That's like me saying that JJ McCarthy's better than Brock Purdy, which I accidentally did, but I was more trying to prove a point, right? That he could be the next Brock Purdy, regardless. Okay, I am guilty. I'm a hypocrite. Okay, but at some point, like, can we? Really? It's, you know what it's making me do? You know what it's making me do?
What?
this is making me like Brian Thomas more.
Okay. Let me talk you off the ledge, all right? Let me talk you off the ledge, Matt. And this is why I say, because I know thousands of people are going to watch this. I know that. So when you watch this, you listen to the replay, if you take nothing away from anything that I say, take away this. Be mindful of the content you consume, all right? Like real talk. Be mindful of some things I listen to for pure entertainment. And that's why I just listen to it to have a good time and I close it. There are other things I listen to really consume that knowledge and information. Comping any of these guys and putting out the expectation that they're going to walk into the NFL and be Justin Jefferson plus, Jamar Chase plus is silly. Like I'm even more.
They're in the chat. They're in the chat. Colin Korsick. Nabers is going to get more draft capital than Jefferson.
Sure.
They're already starting. These people. I love this class more than most people. I love Malik Nabers, but come on, man.
If Justin Jefferson were in class, he would be drafted higher than Malik Nabers. Like you can't use that. Like the NFL made an egregious mistake, but nobody saw this coming. I think Malik Nabers is very good. I think there are more down-to-earth play style comps that you can feel good about without having to go to they don't even play the same first and foremost. Like it's just, they don't even play the same type of game. DJ Moore, I've heard that. I've comped him to Isaac Bruce. People probably don't even know who that is, but he reminds me of Isaac Bruce. Okay.
Great comp. That's a great comp.
He's a fantastic player. But
that's right up there with my Nico Collins, Brian Robinson comp.
Yours still takes the cake, but if you're drafting Malik Nabers to be Justin Jefferson, that's shame on you. Shame on you. Like that's no. And I love Malik Nabers. Been telling you
there's going to be.
2.5 years.
I'm convinced now that there's going to be a few drafts where he goes ahead of Harrison.
Oh yeah.
You see?
Yeah. There will. There will be some.
There will be.
There will be.
This is ridiculous. So the answer is yes. He's jumped the shark.
Okay.
He has. But that doesn't mean that there's not value there in LSU, right? So, like for example, who was the alpha at LSU when Justin Jefferson was there? It wasn't Justin Jefferson. It was Jamar Chase. But who's been more productive in the league? Justin Jefferson. I'm not saying that actually, no, it's Brian Thomas that's Justin Jefferson. I'm just saying that when you have multiple quality receivers and the quarterback can't just home in on the primary guy every time, you're going to have a target share that lags the field. Mm-hmm. There's nothing I like more than finding that auxiliary receiver that happened to be sharing a field with a total stud, and then he flies under the radar. That's there. No matter what Brian Thomas does at the combine or what you think of his tape or his production, that is a fact that had he gone to another school, right, any other school in the country pretty much, other than Ohio State, right, then he would have been more productive, right? If it were him at Oregon instead of Troy Franklin, who knows how productive he would have been.
Right. Brian Thomas is very good.
He's a very good player.
I've got him comfortably inside of my top 5, and he is a very good player. Oh, comfortably. Wide receiver 4, comfortably.
So you're taking him over Troy Franklin?
Huh? Yes. Yes, I'm taking him over Troy Franklin.
I have never seen a guy that is listed by his school at 6'2", 170. That implies a level of svelte that I can't even get my head. We're talking about that's like the movie The Machinist. Like that's how skinny he is, right? Where he's going full method actor. Right, that's what I mean. That it's not true. I mean, he's not 6'2", right, and he's not 170. I think he's heavier than 170, and I think he's probably 6'1". So, but he is fast. I mean, it was fun to watch him. And with Troy Franklin, I do believe that there is some suppression of his value or his perceived value in Dynasty just because of the system. So for all the same reasons why no one likes Bo Nix anymore because he flamed out at the Senior Bowl, was viewed as a system quarterback from the beginning. Well, you have a system receiver too, right? The receiver is also besmirched by the whole system narrative. But my question for you is, what happened? Like, what happened to Bo Nix at the Senior Bowl? Because I heard it was an atrocity.
I don't think he is. I'll tell you this, and this is really going to put it in perspective for people really quickly. When Mac Jones was at the Senior Bowl, there was no doubt about it. That was the best quarterback on the field. Say what you want about Mac Jones in New England in his career, but when you just watch him throw the football amongst everybody else, there was no doubt like that's the best guy out there. There were times where Cody Carpentier and I were talking, or I was talking to I didn't even know who. I forgot he was out there. Hey, who's that throwing? Oh, that was Bo Nix that threw the ball. I don't know what happened, Matt. I don't think that he is a particularly great quarterback. I think he's the type of quarterback that can operate a system. But I don't think he's particularly great. And the Senior Bowl stresses the things that you're not good at. You're not in shotgun running the Dan Lanning offense. You're under center. You've got to turn your back to a defense, to a complete side. And I just don't think it's tough. It's tough to do that. And it's like a damn job interview, Matt. You don't get to sit on the phone with your potential employer for 2 weeks so they can get to know you and figure out you've got to make an impression immediately. Once your interview starts, hey, I'm Ray Garvin, I'm the founder and CEO of Destination. You've got to make an immediate impression. And at the Senior Bowl, you got 2 days, buddy. You got 2 days to get it done, to make the impression, to let people form an opinion. And he just didn't do it. He failed at that.
And, Jayden Daniels doesn't have that problem because he wasn't there.
I said Bo Nix would have done himself a service not even showing up. I bet you if he wouldn't even have came or just went and did the interviews and didn't participate, he still would be viewed a lot more favorably than going out there and being subpar.
So you think across all mock drafts, if it hasn't happened already, it's going to happen, J.J. McCarthy over Bo Nix?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. You don't like it, do you? Tell me, Matt. You don't like it, do you?
No. I love J.J. McCarthy, so I'm fine with it. It's just that it's just tough when a guy has 45 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. When a guy is that prolific like Bo Nix was, and he's a tactical scrambler. I mean, he had a 50-yard run up the middle. Like you have to have some speed to do that, right? So I saw some highlights of Bo Nix. I saw an incredible play action pass to a tight end for a touchdown. I saw him drop a bunch of deep balls into the bucket, 50 yards, both to the sideline and on the deep post. And I was surprised. Right, I expected McCarthy and Nix to be stars at the Senior Bowl, and when I heard that Nix flamed out and McCarthy was better than expected, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I also remember Graham Harrell. Right, there's a guy named Graham Harrell that happened. Okay, he had 5,000 touchdowns for Texas Tech. And he was the quintessential system quarterback. Like Case Keenum, like there's been a few of the like a system quarterback would be Graham Harrell. So it is a thing. It's definitely a thing. I also thought that Marcus Mariota would be better in the league than he is. So, I mean, there you go. There's a guy that has a tactical scrambling capability, was super efficient at Oregon in a spread attack. So I'm not just dismissing like, oh no, this guy had such an incredible touchdown interception ratio. There's no way he can be bad. I don't believe what you saw at the Senior Bowl. No, I know now enough to know that if a guy can't function well at the Senior Bowl, is not precise in like these laboratory conditions of the Senior Bowl, that is a major red flag, right? I mean, the reason that Patrick Mahomes fell to number 10 in the draft was because he was viewed as a system quarterback. That's how
Correct.
Mitchell Trubisky got drafted well ahead
Correct.
of him. But had Patrick Mahomes gone to the Senior Bowl, I fully believe he would have wowed the hell out of everybody like Justin Herbert did.
Yes. Yes. But for everything you just said, Matt, is why Bo Nix will get a shot to start. Make no mistake about it. It doesn't matter what my personal view on the player is. He will get an opportunity to play in the NFL. And he will be under center because Case Keenum did. It's going to happen. He will get drafted with the requisite capital to get an opportunity. Do Dynasty gamers have the Dynasty discipline to make the move whenever he does? And a lot of people didn't have it with Will Levis last year, and we'll see how it works out with Bo Nix.
Yeah, I'll spoil it. On our Dynasty rankings, we do have McCarthy ahead of Nix. It's a thing. We do have Nix ahead of Michael Penix, though. I only said that. I gave away our whole quarterback rankings there because I just wanted to say the name Michael Penix. The guy who's about to turn 24, right? That's part of the issue. Jayden Daniels also will turn 24 at some point during the 2024 season. And yet, because of his mobility for fantasy football, we have him ranked ahead of Drake Maye. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that.
Okay, good.
I do agree with that.
In real football, I'm drafting Drake Maye. In fantasy football, I'm drafting Jayden Daniels. This is easy. These are just easy.
Not a hard concept.
It's not hard, right? It's not hard. And that's also single quarterback. And what I love is that when you flip it to Superflex, this is why do we have the best rankings? Because when you flip it to Superflex, guess what happens? Drake Maye goes ahead of Jayden Daniels because in Superflex, you can't airball a quarterback pick. You airball a quarterback pick, then you're in a lot of trouble. You know, that's years of rebuilding you just cost yourself, right? Whereas everyone back the last 5 years that drafted Kirk Cousins in Superflex has been happy with that choice.
Yes.
That is why. But if I'm in a single quarterback league, it's YOLO. You could always go find a pocket passer on the waiver wire. So draft Justin Fields, draft Jayden Daniels by all means, right? That's why, there was the case to draft Josh Allen, even when we had no idea what he was going to be in single quarterback at a premium over, say, in Superflex, where it's like, oh wow, I'm not ready to go there with the inefficient Wyoming quarterback in Superflex, but I'm happy to do it in single quarterback many years ago. So you were at the Senior Bowl. Who was your favorite rookie or rookies from the Senior Bowl?
Probably much like a lot of folks out there, Ladd McConkey was definitely one of my favorites. Roman Wilson, a wide receiver that I'm much higher on consensus than, was one of my favorites. But I'd have to say my absolute favorite player and somebody that I will not leave Superflex drafts without, and I believe will be a day 2 pick, was quarterback Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma.
Whoa.
QB Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma was probably the most impressive player that I got to talk to, and his game backed that up, and he won the MVP of the Senior Bowl as well in the actual game. But very impressed by that young man. The physical tools are there. Just 2 years ago, we were mocking him as the number 1 overall pick to the Houston Texans going into 2022. We know that didn't work out. Transfers to South Carolina and just got better. Efficiency numbers got better. He improved. The arm talent is there. There's no doubt about it that he can make the requisite throws. And in the NFL, a season we just came out of, we saw 60 damn quarterbacks take starts for these 32 teams. Spencer Rattler is going to get an opportunity. Now, I'm not saying that he's the second coming. He's going to be this or that. But when you're talking about players who impressed me that probably rose their draft stock enough for where we have to pay attention for rookie drafts, I think Spencer Rattler goes from that late 4th rounder. If he gets day 2 capital, I think there's going to be some leagues and some right formats where you're going to want him in Superflex. Very impressed with Spencer Rattler.
It just hit me with. I just want quarterback. I'm such a Superflex fan that any quarterback takes you have, I love him. But I do. Ladd McConkey. What was your What was your big takeaway about him?
He can get open very quickly. I vividly remember on the sideline watching Tank Dell last year, and we're right there during the DB wide receiver drills.
I was with you.
And the coach of the Panthers is like, somebody get up there, go guard him. Nobody even wanted to go out there because they knew he was going to win the rep and make him look silly. No one even wanted to guard him. I remember watching that happen, and I remember watching Puka Nacua. It didn't quite feel that elite-ish, but Ladd McConkey was very good, and he was put together pretty well. So his ability to win quickly, the name of the NFL game today is separation in space. If you can win quick, you've got a shot. And we just saw Tank Dell absolutely dominate with C.J. Stroud. And you know what he didn't play? He didn't play in the slot. He was playing outside like a regular damn wide receiver because it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. Get open quick. I know he's white, so everybody's going to comp him to Cooper Kupp, but Ladd McConkey, very good. Now, he did tell me personally, Matt, that he models his game after Kupp, so I'm going to continue to comp him to Cooper Kupp. He was very good.
So where are the Patriots going to draft him?
Now, see, I didn't take it that far, but
no, you said no. I'm not saying because he's white. I'm saying because you copped him to Tank Dell. You were talking. We said that this year, the Houston Texans of 2024 are the Patriots.
Okay.
And if they're going to be drafting the best wide receiver from the Senior Bowl, it's going to have to be Ladd McConkey. It wasn't because he's white.
It all works. Either way, it works. That's a good fit. I guess in the second round, the pair up with Jayden Daniels. So Daniels to McConkey is the Stroud to Tank Dell. God, what a story. If that happens, let me tell you something, Matt. If he goes to New England, I'm buying you a Ladd McConkey jersey. I'm getting myself one, and we're wearing it on the show that we do together. That's my word to you.
Love it. Yeah, by the way, it was definitely because he's white.
I know.
So... Jonathan Brooks, that's the guy. Spoiler alert, that's my guy. The guy I teased earlier in the show. Jonathan Brooks. You're in Texas. Talk to us about Jonathan Brooks because I think he checks all the boxes.
He's incredible. He's absolutely awesome. He is my RB1 in the class. He is incredible. And had he not been hurt, he would be the unquestioned RB1. And I think he's got the profile that would suggest that he should be valued as a first-round rookie pick, even though we don't have a lot of rookie running backs being drafted that high now. If the medicals check out, like he's going to get round 2 capital. You can etch that in stone now. Runs between the tackles, but my biggest thing with Jonathan Brooks, Matt, my biggest thing is he's not just a running back that can catch the ball. He's a running back that can be deployed as a pass-catching weapon. And while he's not the same size of the player that you said you don't mind overpaying for, I said this last night to my patrons, his game is very, very reminiscent of former Iowa State running back and now current New York Jets rusher Breece Hall. They have very similar games. Breece is bigger. Breece is 220. He's a bigger back. But they have very similar games. I love Jonathan Brooks, man. Love him.
Yep. It's the same concept. We talked about this with Brian Thomas. If you're sharing a locker room with a bunch of other studs at your position, you're going to get overshadowed. And that's Brian Thomas. And, that's Jonathan Brooks. It's you don't have to know anything else. You don't have to know, oh, yes, he was, super productive. 10 plus touchdowns, 1,200 plus yards, 25 plus catches before the torn ACL. I mean, it's just, he didn't do anything before that, and the buzz didn't build on him, just like the buzz wasn't building on Rashee Rice. That's been the theme of the show, is that you want to draft players where, for whatever, irrational reason, buzz hasn't been building. Right? Oh, he's not going to play. In best ball, there isn't a better running back. There isn't a better running back because now you have best ball teams where you can draft rookies and at a discount because you don't know where they're going to end up. You don't know where they're going to land. So as soon as they land somewhere friendly, their value pops multiple rounds immediately. And it's even better in best ball when if you have a playoff system, you can sneak Brooks in to the best ball playoffs, and that's when he's going to be
correct
rounding into form.
Correct.
It's the perfect best ball running back for a late round pick, Jonathan Brooks. I also like Kimani Vidal. Did I say that right? You
did.
Great. Kimani Vidal is one of those sort of bowling ball running backs. I like those guys that are 5'8", low to the ground, strong, can do it all. Small school, puts up the 1,600 yard, like the video game numbers. So between Vidal and Dylan Laube did I say that right?
Dylan Laube, yeah.
Dylan Laube, lob it up. From New Hampshire, okay, that's my area of the country. So between those two, the small school running backs, who do you think is better? Who do you think is a better value? Have you scouted these guys much?
I actually drafted Dylan Laube in a few underdog drafts in the 20th round. I took a couple just in case. I've got a couple shares. I think I've drafted one Vidal, but I do like his game, and it's very reminiscent. And I don't view Vidal as somebody that's take over the backfield. I'm not even worried about that shit. Let him come into a situation where he can be the Jaylen Warren to somebody's Najee Harris. Let him do that. Let him grow into that efficient space creator, 4-minute offense, 2-minute drill, catches the passes. He's got even though he's short, I don't care about his height. He's 215 pounds.
Yeah.
The BMI is there.
This BMI is like upper percentile.
Yes. He's a good player, and he's going to be, the beauty is he's going to be drafted to be just that. So if he is in fact good, we'll know it early, and he'll be in the proper role in which he was drafted to be. I like Vidal.
He's a burrower, man. He can get under people's shoulder pads. I love the burrower running backs, and he's not an elite pass catcher, okay? He's not super electric in space. He doesn't have the greatest hands. We get it. But he's functional. He proved in college he at least can be functional as a pass catcher out of the backfield. He's not one of these guys that maxed out at 10 catches. All right? And you'll find that a lot of the guys that are coming out now are more versatile. The running back position, it's unfortunate that it's as versatile and as talented and talent rich as it's ever been, just as it's being devalued, which I think is why so many of these running backs get so frustrated with what's happening. Right now, let me just workshop this, Nick. So Vidal Sassoon, Kimani Vidal Sassoon, good? Too early? Too soon?
It's a little forced right now.
Forced.
Yeah, a little forced. Wait till the combine. Wait after he does something good. A little. But I like where you're going, but just not yet, man. Not yet.
That's how smooth he is. He's shampoo smooth.
All right.
I'm really making it bad.
Yeah, you're digging your heels in now. You are in deep.
You're not gonna make it a thing. All right, I'm not going to make it a thing. I'm not going to make Kimani Vidal Sassoon a thing. It's not going to happen. All right, so give us the under-the-radar guy, the rookie that is flying under the radar. You're well ahead of consensus on. You haven't talked about him yet. You've talked about a couple of those guys already. Give us one more. Give us one more, maybe a wide receiver who is below the surface.
It's easy. You have unintentionally created a very there's some symmetry going on in this show, man. Some nice symmetry, and he is a teammate of another wide receiver that's viewed as a top wide receiver in this class. How some people have him as the top wide receiver in this class, and I know you didn't stay up late, so we'll go to the Pac-12. We'll go all the way out to the Pacific Northwest, and we're going to talk about a Washington Husky not named P. Nix or Romo Dunze or Dylan Johnson. It's Jaylen Polk, wide receiver, Jaylen Polk, flying under the radar. And I don't care if you're some film scout or just a fan of the game. You watch any Washington Huskies game, and you'll see two receivers, both of them making plays. But if you remove the name from the back of the jersey, you'd look and be like, damn, who's number 2? Who's that guy over there? That's Jaylen Polk. Jaylen Polk's got the requisite size. I think he is going to be an above average athlete. I don't think he's going to be great, but he'll be above average. But the NFL community is very high on this young man, and I've got him comfortably inside of my top 7. Jaylen Polk is somebody that I want many, many shares of. And the beauty of this class, man, everyone we're talking about, they're all 6 foot and above. All of them. 6 foot, 195 to 215 pounds. It's today's game. Jaylen Polk is a damn dog. Jaylen Polk, baby.
What I like about this class, it's definitely a taller wide receiver class than last year, and they have frames they can grow into. Young guys with frames they can grow into, which is cool. And I also weird the Pac-12, leading receivers, Franklin, Polk. I mean, I feel like it's a presidential ticket from 1852.
The Franklin Polk ticket, 2024.
Franklin Polk. Vote Franklin Polk.
That or a terrible law firm for sure, though. But yeah, I like Jaylen Polk a lot. And just because you asked, I'm going to just throw one more out that is a personal favorite of mine, is Roman Wilson. It's Roman Wilson. And my thinking is this. If you love you some J.J. McCarthy and you buy into all the percentage-based numbers and why – well, then you've got to give some level of grace to the wide receivers and the production that they were unable to assume. Like, you can't have it both ways. It can't be McCarthy's great, but they didn't let him throw him and his weapons suck. Or either the weapons sucked and McCarthy's great, which I don't believe that to be the case. But Roman Wilson at 5'11", 185 plus pounds is going to run sub 4.4. He is going to test in the lateral agility drills potentially underneath 4.0 seconds. He is going to run very quick in the shuttles. I think he's going to jump high. And after this, I think there's a real shot Roman Wilson is selected not just on day 2, but sneaks into the back of the first round of the NFL draft. That's my dude. He is that good.
You're talking about like a Brandon Ayuk type player here.
He's that good. Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, I talked about it with Theo Grimm. He is that good.
Yeah, this is Jayden Reed, Brandon Ayuk vibes I'm getting here. Wow.
It's not bad. Wow. That ain't bad.
All right. Now let's expand the context, the scope beyond rookies here. We asked this question. I got away from this question. We're getting back to it upon popular request. Your truther, right? The guy that you doesn't have to, not a rookie, but a guy that you still believe in that you're stashing in Dynasty.
And let me just ask you, because you've been gone for a little bit, right? You've been out for a little bit, and you're back. You're getting in the flow. Let me just make sure I'm clear on the rules of this.
Right.
Are we still, even though not rookie, are we still mining for young players, or can we go old? Just tell. I want to make sure that I'm following the spirit of this question. Young guys, or you want young guys, right? That's what people want to know. Stashes, young guys.
I would say younger is better. Yeah, younger, okay. Even a second-year player.
Okay, I got one for you. And I love this stash. I love them. One of my highest roster players in Underdog right now. I've done like 35 drafts. I believe that the incumbent number 1 will be gone. He will go get a lot of money to go play somewhere else in 2024. Hall of Fame receiver, if that doesn't ring a bell. You like some Chris Godwin. I like me some Chris Godwin, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to bring back Baker Mayfield. They're going to do right by Baker. They're going to bring back Baker Mayfield. And towards the end of the season, there was a wide receiver out of LSU that started at just 6 targets, 5 targets, 6 targets, 84 yards, big play catches. Trey Palmer from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially in best ball, for me, is more than worth the cost of admission. This young man can get down the field in a hurry. He's already shown some level of competence in limited opportunity. 68 targets, 385 yards, 3 touchdowns, long of 54 as a rookie, playing behind Mike Evans and Chris Godwin in an offense that was trying to figure it out with Baker Mayfield in 2023. Is this going to be the guy? Is it not? We just lost Tom Brady. He is the quintessential target in best ball. You can get him dirt cheap, and when he gets the play, it's going to be a big play, touchdown, big high A dot. Air yard guy. Trey Palmer is somebody I'm still stumping the table for, man.
we're going to look back at the 2023 Senior Bowl as the greatest wide receiver class in Senior Bowl history. This is Puka Nacua, this is Tank Dell, this is Jayden Reed, this is Michael Wilson. But guess who else played well at that Senior Bowl? Guess who else had a very high dog rating coming into the season? And he was the one guy that just stonewalled me in the interview. I was trying to be silly, and this guy was all business. And his name was Trey Palmer. Right? It just makes sense. It's just all those wide receivers were great. It was a great cornerback class and a great wide receiver class. And he was performing right at the level of the Michael Wilsons and I'm not going to say Tank Dell because Tank Dell was so extraordinary.
Right.
But the other guys, right? The Pukas and the Jayden Reeds, Palmer was right there with those guys.
Yes. Yes, he was.
And then you saw him blaze. Right, the sub 4.44, you're like, oh, God, right? That's why at LSU, he was a special team star. And then the problem was there were so many great players, Malik Nabers, so many players ahead of him. He had to transfer to Nebraska. And then he pops off for over 1,000 yards, the one opportunity he had. He happened to be a senior, goes to the Senior Bowl. So there were a bunch of guys at the Senior Bowl that were there because of circumstance. Jayden Reed transferred, all these guys. So it just... Some years, the Senior Bowl just happens to attract a swath of receivers that all exceed expectations. And the crazy part is that's without Zay Flowers going. Because Zay Flowers went to the Shrine Bowl for no reason. Right? He just was like, I'm going to go to the Shrine Bowl, and I'm going to be a man among boys at the Shrine Bowl for a day or two, and I'm going to leave. And so that was a great decision by him. Got him drafted in the first round. But he could have easily gone to the Senior Bowl. Probably should have.
Yes.
It would have been nice.
Yes.
And then it just would have blown the doors off of every other Senior Bowl wide receiver class ever. But this is all to say Trey Palmer. Now, I'll get you out of here, and I got to go. Bold prediction for 2024.
Oh, man. And I know this is coming. This is my 4th year doing this with you at the same time. You know this is coming at the show, and yet I sat back and I was like, how bold do I want to get? How bold do I want to go? Because the take that I'm thinking of, Matt, I mean, it's bold beyond epic proportion because it was so damn bad last year. Egregious last year. Egregious decision by the team. Egregious decision by fantasy gamers to draft this player where we did. Yet I believe it can't get any worse than it did for this team and for this player in 2024 as it did in 2023. And I'm talking about the reigning number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft of 2023, the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. I believe from my heart of hearts with the defense that they have, with the bodies that they have at running back, and what I'm going to just give them the benefit of the doubt that it can't get worse from a coaching standpoint and put your players in situations. I think with Dave Canales in the cap space, the Carolina Panthers are going to rebuild this team. They're going to rebuild this team. And in a division that is not quite competitive, I think we're going to look up at the end of the season, and Bryce Young will never get to the level of where C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson are valued, but he will rehabilitate his dynasty value in 2024. There will be a free agent wide receiver plus a rookie that land in that situation that performed to the level that Adam Thielen did and probably a little bit more. And Adam Thielen for the first part of the fantasy season was very good for us. But I think the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, Dave Canales, they turned that thing, I'm not going to say around, but they turned it 45 degrees. And there will be plenty of fantasy usable assets on that team. I think we're due for some good regression for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers in 24.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you,
the people that get the site and get the show.